Well, there's a lot to do as you prepare for a festival. Everything from outhouses and food permits. Yeah, so last year we had our festival out in the street. We didn't want to do that, but a few days before we had the biggest snowstorm of the season, and this park was covered with snow. Our goal here is to create a country fair type atmosphere. Fun for families, kids of all ages, exhibits that help kids understand how the syrup is filtered, and the big pieces, and we have a setup where we'll have our evaporator and reverse osmosis and all the processing equipment that we have. All of our taps, all of our production takes place right here in Woodland Hills. And the reason why is because we're tapping big tooth maple trees. And big tooth maple trees grow naturally at an elevation of between 5,500 and 7,500 vertical feet. So you don't find them down in the valley, and you don't find them up on the mountaintops, but our community here is set right at that elevation. Our production takes place on the private lots of about 30, 35 individual neighbors and residents, and so it's a fun community hobby, a fun way to connect the neighbors. You know, if people recognize that their trees and their woods have productive and economic value, maybe they'll be less inclined to tear down a 200-year-old maple tree and put up a cheap shed. It helps us recognize, connects us with the land, helps us recognize the value of what we have here in these beautiful woods. It's a great way of introducing kids, but also adults to the process of maple syrup production. But here in Utah, we are the only commercial producers of maple syrup in the world, of big tooth maple syrup. So people come by and they see what we're doing and they go, "You mean I can tap my trees? I didn't know I could produce maple syrup here in Utah." It introduces them in a fun, easy, hands-on way to a very traditional skill that's been going on for thousands of years. It's a wonderful syrup. In fact, people that taste it, their first reaction is their eyes open up wide and they smile and they go, that's really good. It's sold only here at the festival. And last year, we produced about 400 bottles, and we sold out every one of our bottles within about 40 minutes. This year, much warmer, and yet still very productive. We produced well over twice as much syrup this year as we did last year.